is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There we go. Now we're ready to go. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. What is Omar Kelly, baby? Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. And more importantly, catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Make sure you subscribe and support people like Omar and Ira and all the excellent writers that are there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Oh, how was your weekend? Good weekend?
Yeah, can't complain. Had a Friendsgiving. Cam Wolf's house, so that was fun. What else? I went to eat sushi. Had a date night with my wife. We took it home at like 10 o'clock because sleep is now the new turn up for us. Grandparents had the baby, and we said, instead of going out and partying, we would like to have some uninterrupted sleep.
Right. Okay. All right. There you go. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. You deserve it, especially when you gotta take care of the little one every day. It can definitely wear on you. No doubt about it. That's for damn sure. But it was good to have a weekend where you're not covering football and you get to watch. You watched the little football yesterday.
But hold on. You know what's problematic about watching football?
What?
You see all the other teams that you wish your team was like. And the local game was the Patriots. And while I'm not a big believer in Bill Belichick is a genius, he's a mastermind, he's the greatest of all time, he's going to build another dynasty. I am a believer in the fact that he understands how to build football teams and then win games. And it's basically still off the Parcells blueprint, which is win in the trenches, run the football, and you'll have a chance on Sunday, Sunday.
His kid threw dimes yesterday. Dimes. Yes. He threw several passes that were very impressive. I got to give the kid a lot of credit yesterday.
Yeah, but
he played a really nice.
It starts in the trenches.
He's got all the fundamentals around him to succeed. Don't get me wrong. Something that Tua doesn't have at all. I get all of that. I'm with you. I just want to give him love because the kid threw dimes yesterday.
It's not about the quarterback to me. I think that there's no reason that you swap teams and Tua can't do the exact same thing that Mac Jones are doing.
I agree.
If you have a physical run game that gives you third and 4, if you have an offensive line that can let you take a 7-step drop, can pick up a blitz.
Yeah, that's freaking suicide in Miami, bro.
Yeah, no, you take a 7-step drop, you better be calling the ambulance to come get your quarterback. Yeah. It's just the defense. Yeah, I expected them to pick up where they left off on defense, and I think the Dolphins can build on what they have. I don't think they're a bad defense. I've never thought that they were a bad defense.
No, they're not a bad. Of course not. I agree with you. The Raekwon Davis thing hurt them because they don't have another guy after him, actually. So they don't have anybody like him. No, but they don't have a guy like him, another disruptor.
I don't think there are 10 teams that have a guy like him in the NFL.
Well, what I'm saying is, years ago when there was like Tim Bowens and Darryl Gardner, for a short time, you had 2 disruptors. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that kind of luxury. Like Siler's a good player, but
he's not a disruptor. Raekwon isn't a disruptor. Raekwon is basically just a shut down the run kind of guy, and he, I believe it's
that's disrupting. That's disrupting, dude. That's like saying you will have none of it here. Go somewhere else. And then all of a sudden the old coordinator is going, damn, I can't do anything here. That's disruptive, dude. That's what that is. You know what I'm saying?
I would rather a defensive tackle that can collapse the pocket and pressure the quarterback.
You're talking about a sack guy. You're talking about a sap guy.
I mean, when I think of
Aaron Donald guy,
like I think trust me, I've been on the screaming from the mountaintop that, hey, got to stop the run. Let me. I'm looking. I'm in my next piece. Since you always ask me, a month ago, I detailed all the issues that 10 issues that this team was having, and basically to try to analyze. Brian Flores knows these are the issues. These are the issues that need to be fixed. Well, here we are a month later, and I'm trying to take a look at what they've done and how they've addressed it. But they were giving up 136 rushing yards during that stretch without Raekwon, 4.4 a carry. They're down now to 109 and 4.2 a carry, which is not bad. I mean, Raekwon has really helped them. I believe only 2 of the last 6 games which Raekwon has played has an opponent rush for over 100 yards. And that's something. That's a start.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Omar, normally we do it at 10:30, but we did our segment today at 11 because I wanted to get into something that I think has developed right before our eyes. And I talked about it for almost an hour before you came on. And I've come to the conclusion that I think it's staring us in the face that the organization has got to make a coaching change at the end of the year, because that's really the problem of this team right now. We're watching the defensive players, pretty much all of them pretty much develop except Iggy, because he doesn't play, obviously, until he plays. We're never going to even find out.
Are they developing now?
Yeah, they are. Isn't Jalen Phillips getting better? Isn't Brandon Jones showing you something? Isn't Devon Holland doing something? I mean,
the young players are getting better, but the young players were also holding you back earlier in the season because you were investing in them and they weren't ready.
Well, but that's fine. But what I'm saying is that's your future. You know what I mean? Some other guys, they're not your future. Certain other guys that are here, they're just kind of stepping stones. But what I'm saying is the draft picks are starting to develop on one side of the ball. On the other side, the only 2 guys that are playing well, it's because they're doing it in spite of everything, which is Jalen and Gesicki. They play in spite of the crap that goes on. All the problems really are on the O-line, the offense, and its coordinators. And the relationships that flow. You know, you're the best example because you've told us that Flo is an impossible guy to deal with. And I think we've run into a Joe Philbin situation. I think we've run into an Adam Gase situation where we have a coach that doesn't really know how to get along with all kinds of personalities. Like Mike Tomlin can get along with all kinds of personalities. That's why he wins. We find out what Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell is like, and we're going like, wow, Tomlin's a beast that he was able to keep that stuff.
That's Mike Tomlin. Are you holding him to the standard of Mike Tomlin?
Well, dude, Shula had to play with guys too, and Parcells had to deal with Lawrence Taylor doing cocaine and getting arrested. The great coaches, Omar, over the years, they all have characters on their teams. They all have guys that are they're a little crazy or a little or a little weird or whatever it is, and you've got to balance it all. My point is, Flo has proven to us, from the Minka situation to everything. Tua, he hates Tua. You can tell that he's not even in Tua's corner the same way he wasn't in Rosen's corner at the same time. This is a guy that has a problem finding coaches, especially offensive coaches, which is where his weakness is. He has a problem getting along with players. He has a problem getting along with people because he cannot keep offensive coordinators or offensive line coaches, can't find them. I think if the Dolphins want to move forward, they have to replace Flo in the offseason and go get yourself a veteran coach that can get himself a veteran coaching staff and find yourself maybe a dynamic offensive coordinator so you can get it done.
I think I hear your point, and let me put this at the very top shelf. I don't care what happens to anybody. I don't. If I had a dream scenario, we'd restart this whole thing all over again. New GM, new coach at the same time. You hire your people and we start over. However, I believe that this stretch of games, the final 7 games, which his team has not quit on him, and his team is clearly getting better defensively, not offensively. We already know they can't score 17 points. I think it's going to save his job. I think the offseason, if we're going to decide whether or not Steve Ross is going to decide whether or not he's going to fire him or not, it will really have to come down to his plan of, okay, how are you going to fix the offense? Who are you going to hire as your offensive coordinator? And who are you going to hire as your run game coach? Who are you going to hire as
O-line coach? Your O-line coach.
Your O-line coach. Who are you going to hire as play caller? Who are you going to hire as your wide receiver coach? Because I think that's an issue as well. And how are you going to fix this offensive staff? And if you don't come back with a good plan that you can execute, then yeah, probably got to whack you. No,
I don't see where I disagree is the GMs can the GM screwed up with this coach, but they can find another one. I don't want to lose.
Yeah, no, GM's done where the GM I don't want to lose worse job than the coach has done.
I don't want to lose Greer, Allen, and McKenzie. I think they have a great front office. I think their front office is not the problem. They just screwed up with the coach.
The team they have built is a bad team, and it's on Chris Greer. I think Chris Greer has done a worse job than Brian Flores has done a bad job.
Why?
The team is just poorly built. The team is just poorly built. Decisions that they made.
Why is it poorly built? If coaching can't make a difference, it's
this line is doo-doo.
Huh?
This line is doo-doo.
It's doo-doo because you have no coaches. That's all it is.
It was going to be doo-doo. It was going to be doo-doo.
So you think all 4 linemen are a bust? You really believe that?
I think Eichenberg is salvageable. I think Robert Hunt is the only piece that is worth.
Well, that's great drafting then, my brother. If you hit on 50% of the 4 linemen, then you did a great job.
I've
been saying for months, you're only going to hit on 2 or 3. You're only going to hit on 2 or 3.
Building a line was your top priority as Chris Greer. Words he said to me.
Yeah, and who hits on all 5 linemen, dude?
He's had 3 years, and it's been doo-doo.
Who hits on all 5 linemen that they draft?
It's been 3 years.
These aren't high picks.
2019, you had the worst line in Dolphins franchise history.
All coaching. All coaching.
Okay.
All coaching.
Listen, but we've had 3 different coaches. We have 4 different coaches.
That's right, but it's Flo that decides he doesn't want Eric Flowers.
No.
Don't do that.
I hate when you do that.
I hate when you do that because you're naive to think he doesn't control the 53, dude. And you're naive to think that the GM would want to cut a guy that would then make him take a cap hit. Where does that make any freaking sense, Omar?
He is responsible. Chris Greer will tell you himself. I am responsible for this roster. I build this roster. I do free agency.
I know he's the one that signed Eric Flowers.
Okay.
But then he doesn't want him. He's the guy that brings in Changeli, but the other guy doesn't want him. He's the guy that gives you.
There is no decision that either of those individuals make that is not in unison. That's not how they work.
And really? Yeah, so that's how I went with That's how I went with Changeli, and that's how I went with Adam Gase. When they wanted to cut a guy that personnel did not,
that's totally
would not get cut. It's the same thing. It's
this era of dysfunction. I disagree with you. I disagree with you. If Chris Greer said,
okay, so wait a minute. So you think Chris Greer brought in Jacoby Brissett?
I think that they sat down and they talked as an organization.
Jesus Christ.
They sit down.
So you don't want to admit you're wrong then?
No.
Because it's obvious he brought in Jacoby Brissett. It's obvious.
Who brought in Jacoby Brissett?
Flores.
I think that Jacoby Brissett was.
Omar, dude.
No.
You weren't born yesterday. You cannot be this naive, dude.
Listen, no. Chris Greer has been here long enough. I've talked to him about personnel decisions.
And he's not going to tell you jack, bro. He's not going to tell you anything.
He's going to build a team that his coach wants. That's what his job is. He views his job as building a team that his coach wants.
There you go.
Whether or not you agreed with it or you liked it, it is your responsibility to give the team, to give the coach the
But there are
players that he
times,
feels.
Omar. But there are times that you can't do anything about it if the coach doesn't want to coach the guy, doesn't want to get along with the guy. Do you think really Greer wanted to get rid of Minka? Didn't they all try
They
to
didn't have a
talk about
choice. Yeah, I sat
exact
there and I watched Flores try to talk Minka to stay.
and who did he have a problem with, Omar?
The whole franchise, not Flores. Minka had a problem with the entire franchise, the entire culture. Minka did not want to be here.
Who creates the culture, Omar?
The head coach. Okay, but it doesn't help when your GM. Okay, hold on. It doesn't help.
Whose call is it to play Jay-Z on stills, Omar?
Wow, are you really gonna hold him to the Jay-Z
I'm trying to pinpoint to explain to you he lacks people skills all over the place.
I never said he had good people skills.
Did you ever watch Dan Marino come onto the field and
neither did Joe Philbin? Adam Gase had great people skills.
And look at him like, hey kid, it's not you, it's them. It's not you. You're good. You ever watch Dan Marino do that with anybody? Not just Josh Rosen.
Not what he said. That's not what he said. That's not what he said.
What do you think of Landon Roberts and some of the other players last week also when they put him aside? What do you think? What do you think is going on behind the scenes? I think the players, I think the front office, I think the owner, I think they all know Brian Flores is the problem. And I think they're going to crap can his ass at the end of the year. How about that? Because I've never seen it. It's obvious, dude. All the pieces have been around.
They quit on him?
Because those guys are pros. They didn't quit on Cam Cameron.
I've seen this team quit on every single coach that they've ever played for.
They didn't quit on Cam Cameron, bro. They played hard for him all the way to the end. And it wasn't because they were playing for them. They were playing for themselves.
No. They quit on Cam Cameron. The only coach that they have not quit on since I've been covering this team was Tony Sparano. And which is why they had to whack him after a loss just to get rid of him because they knew the team was going to rally back. This team has quit on every single coach that they've played, but they haven't quit on Brian Flores. I'm a professional at knowing when a team quits. They wouldn't have been able to put together that Ravens game.
You watch X-Men in the hole in the Jags against in Tampa against Fournette. Yeah, he really gave a full go there to try to make that tackle.
Who?
X-Men.
Oh,
Bucks, Fournette, the hole. He said, not doing that. I'm going to go to the ground instead.
It was a blowout. X makes business decisions. I'm used to X making.
You're making all kinds of excuses for Flo, dude.
No. Like, bro.
Flo
didn't we have this conversation last week? What does X view his job as? Create turnovers.
Yeah, I know. That was terrible on your part.
That's it.
You're paying his ass to shut down fools.
No,
and if he can't shut fools down, he ain't doing his job.
Never. Okay? He covers the best guy because he's a high volume guy. No, he wants a high volume.
He tries to cover the best.
All right, okay, put Nick Needham on the field. Put Noah Igbenogany. Go ahead, do that.
Noah will be on the field next year after they fire Flo, get a new coach, and then they'll play Noah to find out if he can play over the next 3 years.
No, and here's my thing, and I don't disagree with you that everything is wrong with the team. Everything is wrong with the team. Everything needs to be fixed, but it's a poorly built team. One, you have no running game. You should have taken Najee Harris. There's no debating this. There's no. If you want to run the RPO, you actually need a run game to actually make it work. You
need a line also, which Najee might have ended up injured in this line.
Yeah, you've been building this line for 3 years.
And by the way, you're a cruel person to want Najee here because that poor kid would.
He would have made it work, bro. He would have made it work. Don't act like the Steelers have a much better line, and he's one of the hottest players in the NFL. Listen. O-line construction, Greer. The running game should have taken. We could name off 5 backs that they should have had on this team the last 2 years. That would have helped you better than a 7th round pick. And no disrespect to Myles Gaskin, but I'm sorry, bro. You're not a featured back. Wide receiver position. your whole unit is riddled with injuries. Oh, gee, surprise! You signed everybody, retained everybody who's got injury history. I'm sorry, that's on the executive. The fact that you have 5 tight ends and the best one really can't play on the line and can be taken out of the game based on what the opponent's doing. You shouldn't have drafted a tight end that can only catch passes to begin with.
You're so wrong. You're so wrong on that.
You came out.
Most tight ends in this league that
Let me ask you a question. Would this team be better with Dallas Goedert or Mike Gesicki?
Almost every tight end in the league that can catch like him, which is only a few. There's only like 2 or 3 of them that can actually block. You're asking for something. You're asking for something that doesn't exist.
I was going to mention Baltimore's tight end. What was his name? William. Baltimore's tight end, who was drafted after Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews, yes.
Drafted after Gesicki. Can actually do both jobs.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert, Philadelphia Eagles, should have been the pick. Then you wouldn't have had to use.
He's a good player. He's a good player. But he's kind of like Eddie Moore.
All of them are better than. Yeah, but the problem with that,
there is a problem with Dallas Goedert. He's like Eddie Moore. He gets knocked out in bars. It's not a good thing.
Listen, I just named you 2 tight ends that she should have drafted over Mike Gesicki. And then you wouldn't have had to waste 2 draft picks.
Omar, you're wasting your breath. Mike Gesicki's not a problem, dude.
I didn't say he's not a problem.
So don't mention him. He's a playmaker. He's an answer. He's a reason why you're.
If you have better receivers,
why you have a couple of wins.
If you have better receivers, Mike Gesicki wouldn't be on the field.
It's not his fault that there aren't better receivers. It's not his fault that they don't have 5 linemen that can block. It's not his fault that they can't run. It's not his fault that the head coach doesn't believe in the quarterback and doesn't help the quarterback. None of that is. It's not his fault he has a shitty offensive coordinator. It's not his fault that he has 3 offensive coordinators that fight amongst each other for what play they run. I mean, that none of this is out of all Gesicki does is make plays for the Miami Dolphins. How somehow you spin him into a negative is beyond me. It really is.
It's and this is where we have a divide. When Mike Gesicki is on the field, what are the Dolphins doing?
It's the effing Red Sea between you and me on that one.
What are the Dolphins? Answer the question. When Mike Gesicki's on the field, what are the Dolphins doing?
They're going to burn your ass downfield with Mike Gesicki. That's what they're going to do.
They're going to throw the ball. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right. And when Oronde Gadsden was inside the red zone, you knew where it was going, and you still couldn't stop it.
He's not Oronde Gadsden.
That means you're pretty good, Omar.
I'm not even sure Mike Gesicki's a top 5 red zone player for this team.
My man almost pulled a one-handed hat trick.
Why is he a factor in the red zone? Answer that question. Why isn't he a factor in the red zone?
Because they suck.
Yeah, it's a very simplistic answer. But
I keep telling you, Mike Gesicki's not the problem, my man. If you had a real offensive coordinator, Mike Gesicki would be a Pro Bowler.
His position coach is the offensive coordinator, and he's having a wonderful season.
How good do you think Mike Gesicki would be playing the Travis Kelce role? He would be a monster. He would have 100 yards.
No, he would not.
He could catch. He could make all the same catches.
No, he would not.
What do you mean?
We disagree. I have a different opinion of Mike Gesicki than you have an opinion of Mike Gesicki. I'm sorry. Mike Gesicki is a limited.
So the guy in Green Bay, Tanyan, is better because he's got Aaron Rodgers, right? So his stats might be better. He might end up with more touchdowns than Gesicki, but he must be better than Gesicki. It's not because he has Aaron Rodgers. No. And Matt LaFleur at least.
Why are we debating Mike Gesicki? Okay, let's get on to the GM. Let's get on to the defensive line. You don't have a pass rusher opposite Emmanuel Ogbah. You selected Jalen Phillips.
You're developing a young guy.
It's developing. Linebackers. You come back with the exact same linebackers you had last year. It's been a shit show.
Your guy wanted to get rid of Kyle Van Noy.
My guy. Now Brian Flores is my guy.
Yeah, he ain't mine. You're the one defending him, not me.
I'm the number one Brian Flores critic.
Your guy wanted to get rid of the center to make the line worse. That's your guy, not mine. I'm just saying.
Oh my God! Listen, He's not my guy.
Yes, he is. He's your
no,
guy.
no, he's not. No, he's not. What I am saying to you is he's doing a better job than the general manager is. The team was poorly built. It just was.
It was. They got the wrong coach.
Even he won 10 games last year, bro. Like you were singing his praises when he was when he won
Tony
5
Sperano
games
won
in
11,
2019.
and Tony Sperano won 11, and Adam Gase won 10. Do you want me to minimize?
They all got better records
now?
than Brian Flores. Yes, I know that. Yes.
Okay.
But listen.
Hey, Dave Wannstedt won 11 games twice. If you really want me to minimize it, okay? With a real defense.
Tell me what part of this team is good and built good.
Built good? I mean, I think they can have a really good defense if actually they had a real coach. Yeah. If they had a real coach, they'd have a real offense, a real running game, keep that defense fresh. You know, the quarterback would be supported. You'd have more balance on the team instead of the defense being on the field all the time.
That's not how the team.
How's that? What happened? Oh, you froze there. All right, go ahead.
I'm back.
There we go. You're back now.
That's not how the team is built. That in your mind, that's not about the built the structure of how it's built, right? That's not. Oh, you know, I mean, if we're gonna just talk about problems, it all starts and ends with the offensive line, and Brian Flores did not build it. Now he is on his 4th offensive line coach, which is a problem and an issue. And needs to take some responsibility for it. But this team traded up for Liam Eichenberg, and he is the worst offensive lineman in the NFL right now.
Right. And you could tell that it's coaching when all 3 of them are the worst linemen in the NFL. It's almost impossible to draft the 3 worst linemen in the NFL.
I'm not arguing with you on that. But talent-wise, I think they're a very limited talent group to begin with.
I don't think you get to see their best because of what's because of who's coaching them. That's the problem. I think they're all put in it's like watching Steve Young in Tampa. You know, it's just like one of those deals. Like he became a different person in San Francisco because he had the support there. That's kind of the same thing. If you're in a terrible situation, you're not going to look good. Then all of a sudden,
let me play the hypothetical game with you now. I'll entertain it. You fire Brian Flores, you allow Chris Greer to hire a new coach, which I think would be massively irresponsible, but I will play along. And he hires Brian Daboll.
I don't know if he would hire Brian Daboll, but maybe.
Let's just play. Brian Daboll's the hottest coach, or Eric Bieniemy. That make you feel better, Eric Bieniemy?
No, actually not. I'm actually thinking of believe it or not, I'm thinking of Reggie McKenzie saying, "Let's bring in Jack Del Rio. We bring in a veteran coach that understands players, can manage people, and then we'll go get a young hot offensive coordinator in college, or somebody up and coming in the NFL, a quarterback's coach that's ready to become an offensive coordinator, and then we'll get a grizzled O-line coach, which Jack Del Rio can get. We'll get a defensive coordinator." I think something like that, where you have a balance of old and young, but also a balance of somebody that's done it. I'm not saying to hire Jack Del Rio, but I'm saying in that sense, I think that's what they need to do. I think they need a more experienced coach, but then you have a flavor of what, you know, you get a Joe Brady, like what Carolina did, you know, that kind of stuff. You get something like that from college to complement something that Jack is doing. Somebody like that. I think that's what you do. I think that's what this team needs. I think that's what this organization needs. I think taking a chance on a Brian Daboll or an Eric Bieniemy to be your head coach is another monster gamble that you have no idea if it's going to work out. Whereas you bring in a Jack Del Rio, he's already worked with Reggie McKenzie. Neither one of them deserved to get fired in Oakland as it is. You know what I mean? When they got fired. So you let them kind of rebuild the coaching staff and bring experience in, and people will work with Jack because he's worked with 4,000 coaches over the years. So something like that is what I would do. I don't know about all the veteran names that are available out there, but I would like to find them and then try to find that combination. And here's the other thing that you need to get away from, Omar. You bring in a Jack Del Rio, he's not going to be effing with you with personnel. And that's the problem with Flo, and that was the problem with Gase. Philbin did not have that power, but Philbin still was a meddler. He would come into the personnel department all the time to complain about one player after another, and he did force the issue and get players out of there, but not as much because he didn't have the power. Gase and Flo have been given too much power. The next guy cannot be given that kind of power. Let McKenzie and Allen and Greer keep drafting, and they'll do their job. They can do the job. I have all the faith in those guys. But what you need to do is fix that coaching staff and get a veteran. That's just me.
I think you need to fix the coaching staff, no doubt about it. I do not have a belief or conviction that Brian Flores can fix it because I'm not sure who would want to work for him. But then again, I'm not necessarily certain anybody is coming here to work for Chris Greer either. I think that's an even worse problem.
No, I don't think so. I think with this staff here, I think with those other guys, I think they'll be fine.
Love the guys and staff in theory. Execution's been piss poor, and I can't overlook what was done and what was built and what was put together. It's not. It's completely a disaster, and that's on Chris Greer and his staff. And I have a great deal of respect for all the individuals there and what they've done and accomplished throughout their careers. But when I look at this body of work, I got to hold them accountable. And there's nobody more accountable for putting together this horrendous roster than them.
I don't think it's a horrendous roster. I just think it's a horrendous coaching staff. That's all. That's really what it is. I think
it's a very interesting debate.
They won 10 games last year, so it can't be that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
They went and shut down Baltimore this week, so obviously there's ability there. There's something there.
So somebody's got to coach that.
So that's right. You got to get a better coach.
They came up with a great game plan against Baltimore. Nobody saw it coming, including the Ravens.
Defensively, because that's the only hope the guy has. He has.
Offensively, Offensively, what can you do when you can't protect?
That's what I'm saying. If you can't, that's why I've seen this story. I've seen this movie before. Why bring back the coach in desperation to try to save
We've all seen this movie. We've all seen this movie. We've all seen it 4 times.
You just answered your question the last time. You can't find an offensive coordinator or O-line coach.
Your problem is that the GM needs to be saved and salvaged for what? For what?
I don't think they need to be salvaged at all. I think they're just fine. I don't think they're the problem. I think their problem. I think their problem was they found the wrong coach. That's all.
I have no trust or confidence that Chris Greer should be able to hire another head coach. Zero.
And we said the same
pick another
thing.
quarterback or draft another offensive lineman.
We said the same thing with Hickey.
What?
We said the same thing with Hickey, and he was just
fine.
We said the same thing with Ireland. We said the same thing with Ireland with Spielman, and they're just fine. Personnel has not been the problem here for a long, long time, actually.
Oh, it's the problem.
Okay? Actually, personnel, we had young guys that were learning.
You have a team with no running back. You have a team with no running back. A team full of scat backs.
But they're only 3 years. They're only 3 years into this rebuild. They can get a running back.
Only three.
They're only 3. You could get a running back next year, and if you get an
O-line coach, let's get a running back here for.
You can fix your offensive issues into next season.
How many free agent running backs have they signed? How many have they drafted? Oh, they haven't drafted any, and all the free agents that they've signed have been bust.
Exactly. So if you actually try to draft,
Peterson was unemployed on the street, and he could help his team better than
Adrian Peterson isn't the answer.
Oh yeah, you got Tannehill winning. You ain't saying nothing about that. You got Tannehill's over here 2-0 without his workhorse.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah.
Have you watched? No. You did not watch the game.
Listen,
you did not watch the game. Did you watch the game?
I watched the highlights.
Okay, you didn't watch the game. Thank you. Okay.
Listen, I watched the first game.
I'm catching up to your thing here. You don't really watch the game.
No. I saw the first game, and the defense won, and Tannehill did his game management thing.
Yeah. He didn't really do anything.
Hey, but everybody said
anything.
he's gonna lose now that he doesn't have his workhorse.
Oh, no, but I mean, what was he playing yesterday? I mean, how do you not beat that team with the team you have?
He's 2-0.
All you got to do is manage.
He's 2-0.
the game.
When are we gonna start giving Tannehill some credit for winning?
I didn't see him win. I didn't see him lift anything. Did you watch the game?
So
Did you watch the game?
Listen, no.
It was all in a defensive effort last week. It wasn't him. And if you watch the game this week,
if he played like that in Miami, we would be building him a statue.
He's on for the ride, bro. That's what he is. He does a nice job of managing the game and makes a couple plays here or there.
Ain't no shame in that. Ain't no shame in being a game manager.
I know. If only Tua had an offensive line and a coaching staff,
Tannehill will walk away from the
running
NFL
game.
with $300 million.
How's that?
I said Tannehill will walk away from the NFL with $300 million.
Yeah, but I want him to walk away with a Super Bowl with the Miami Dolphins is what I want him to walk away. I don't care about what.
You want him to come back? You want the Dolphins to re-sign him? Okay.
I've never wanted him to get rid of him. I do worry about the injury stuff. But if you build maybe a freaking line in front of him and get him an offensive line coach, maybe you can keep him healthy. If you get a power running game, you'll definitely keep him healthy. But if you don't, he won't last much longer. Not behind this mess. No way. You know what I mean? No way.
Fair. Yeah.
So they got to build up.
I scream that from the mountaintops all the time. Run the ball, build a brick wall in front of them. It wins.
Well, this week they got to win, right? Jets.
Yeah.
Road game.
Yeah. Well, it don't matter. I'm sure they're favored, right? No, maybe.
I think so. Yeah, I think they are actually.
Vegas don't play.
I think they are. Let me see. I will give it to you in a second. Let me go to the Hard Rock app and see if they have any lines for next week already.
Hold on.
No,
There's sports betting at the Hard Rock?
Well, the app. There's an app. The Hard Rock released an app, and you can bet legally. I tell you, bro. You didn't know about that either?
No.
Oh, come on, bro. This is a good way for you to lose your entire check from the South Florida Sunset.
I'm not into sports betting, but it is the next wave of the future, I'm sure.
There's no doubt about that. The line is actually Dolphins favored by 3. Over and under is 45. Dolphins are minus 170 in the money line.
So they think the Dolphins are 6 points better than the Jets.
And the Jets have already given up on their kid already too. The Jet fans, they've given up on Zach.
I farm my own land, bro. I farm my own land. Ain't nobody giving up on Tua.
Well, they've already given up over there. Yeah.
They haven't, but they'll be fine. They'll survive. I don't worry about the Jets.
I don't know. He's got a hot mom. I'll tell you that. That kid. That's got to be the worst. Right? Being a kid and having a hot mom. Like everybody wants to be your friend, but they only want to be your friend because they want to check out your mom. I mean, that's just got to be rough.
I think
because she's a smoke show. You haven't seen her?
I'm sure I have.
Smoke show. A little too political for the people in New York, but she is a smoke show. There's no doubt about that. All right, follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly. And catch his work there daily at the South Florida Sun Sentinel, folks, and catch him here a couple times a week doing his thing with the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. And you can catch him here defending his boy, Flo.
My boy. Okay, my boy. I'm sure he would tell you he's not my boy.
Well, you tell us all the time how much you love him and how much you get along with him.
Oh, yeah.
He's so easy to get along with.
Absolutely. And, so chummy.
You guys exchange Christmas gifts and all that. What are you getting him for Christmas this year, by the way?
Hey, he did get my daughter a nice gift, the Dolphins, and it's full Senate, of course. So
that's very nice. Very nice. Yeah, when I was almost in my deathbed getting my stents in my heart, I got flowers from Mike Tannenbaum. And I'm not sure if they were flowers to get well or just die, you son of a bitch, because you're ripping me all the time. I don't know which one it is. But actually, he's a really nice guy. Believe it or
He
not,
is Tannenbaum is a really nice guy.
believe it or not,
And
Mike Tannenbaum's a really nice guy. Actually.
the way his verbal game is, he'll be a GM again, unfortunately. And he's just got so much verbal game, bro.
Yeah, I don't want, like I have his number. We go back and forth on text and everything, but I don't want to get to know him too well because then I become friends with him, and that's just not good.
Yeah.
I don't,
Same here. I'm good.
Believe it or not, whether we agree or disagree on his football philosophies,
yes,
he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy.
No, he's a great guy, and in fact, he's excellent on television. He's one of my favorite guys to watch on ESPN. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
All right,
he's fun. All right, Omar. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you as always. You be good. There you go. That's Omar Kelly and the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show.